Hello and welcome to Solely Singleton, episode 185, I think. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And today, our patrons are assholes.
We gave them the option, and it is kind of funny, but yeah. There were definitely better options to choose.
So yeah, it's the patron-decided episode today to round off the recording season, as I'm coming to call it, because it's not actually seasons anymore. But we're going on break for a few weeks for the holiday season.
Yeah.
But our patrons, being the lovable sports they are, had all kinds of options for this recording season. They could have chosen a cube roast of my own cube from 2010. They could have chosen Brad and Eric's Fuck, Marry, Kill for cube cards. They could have chosen having us draft in a video draft thing for a video-only episode.
They could have chosen having Anthony build a commander deck from his cube. That would have been hilarious.
But they could have chosen serious topics. They could have chosen hybrid card sections. They could have chosen monocolor utility land deep dive episode. All sorts of interesting topics. They could have gone the EDH route and done an EDH deck tech. They did none of these.
Nope.
Instead, the overwhelming majority voted for Brad and Eric's Universes Beyond IP crossover wish list, which I put on there as a joke at the behest of patrons, which I should have realized was a red flag.
Yeah. I feel like they play a dangerous game of like, we're going to recommend this, but we know that you're going to do all these other ones, so we're going to have the funniest, meanest one to the hosts that they don't actually really want to do.
So instead of us doing a 1v1 little draft format for a video, or covering a serious topic, or covering any of those other more fun-sounding topics, they chose violence.
Yeah, Universes Beyond IP crossover wish list. Let's go, Brad. Hype.
Sounds terrible.
Poggers.
All right, Eric, I can see your list. You can't see mine.
No, I was open about mine.
I took this seriously.
I did too.
You took it seriously for exactly 2 picks.
I think you're underestimating what I want out of this.
I get that you're trying to counter troll the patrons, but I think you're feeding the trolls, and I went serious so that they'll get no fun out of this.
Meanwhile, I want every single one of these things on the list to happen because I choose violence from Watsy's end.
We're continuing the cycle of violence. So explain to me the logic behind these picks, because I see what you did here.
Yeah, so thinking about like how slow and old man-like Watsy is, I was like, well, what was popular in 2018? That's probably going to come out in 2023.
Which is true, because we're getting Fortnite in 2023 or 2. Did it come out already? So
yeah.
We're looking at like 2018, then 2019. That's the era we should be looking at for popular things to be picking up.
Yeah. So what was popular? Well, Black Panther. That was a pretty big thing in 2018. And it would hit a lot of marks that Watsy likes to hit. So I could definitely see them doing that kind of thing. I don't think it would be like a full set. I think it would be like a secret lair kind of, maybe 5-10 cards, something like that.
Eric, the problem with this is Black Panther is owned by Disney, and Disney has their own counter card game now called Disney something or other.
You know, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, they're making their own miniature game. They're making their own card game. They're just trying to like monopolize all the things you can do with an IP.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, nostalgia is pretty fucking big, and our generation's a sucker for collectibles. It makes sense. And yeah, maybe Black Panther isn't doable, but it was just like the immediate thing that came to mind of like what was popular in 2018 film stuff. But the next one on my list was also like 2018, what became popular, and K-pop like blew up. So BTS just like it became like a phenomenon like worldwide. Yeah, I mean there's 7 members So they could do like a card for each one kind of thing.
Oh, it can be a secret layer
Yeah.
universes IP thing. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Because I actually think like that BTS would sell like really well. But I was thinking like 2019 comes around because like that was my 2018 knowledge. It's too far ago. I don't remember anything else. 2019 was when Game of Thrones basically ended.
Ended is a word.
So I was like, you know what? That would be the perfect thing for Wati to pick up. You know, it's got dragons. Dragons are cool.
So because Game of Thrones is getting like a new show that's like supposedly very well liked again, that's like a prequel show,
Yeah.
it's too good of an idea. So I have to shut this one down immediately. This would actually be successful. They won't do it. They're busy trying to make fucking Lord of the Rings relevant again.
Yeah.
Something that died off in the popular culture like 2 decades ago. They're trying to get that, like, no. Game of Thrones is like a 2040 something.
It might be. I might be too early on the Game of Thrones one, but like I was like, it was on for 8-9 years or something like that. So I was like, oh, that. But maybe you're right because they're relaunching it or whatever. I do think that the actual like the fantasy part of Game of Thrones could work in to magic ruling and cards and stuff like that in an interesting way.
We'll get to my picks. I actually took this very seriously.
Okay.
So keep going. What are your other hits of 2019?
We've got the Joker movie.
Specifically the Joker movie, not like Batman as an IP.
No.
The Joker movie.
This is to print a card for the "he's just like me" meme.
For real.
Yeah. That they just need to print the one card. That's it. I would be so. I would love that. That would be so funny. The next one I actually think could work. I don't think it's going to happen because like it's still too popular or something like that, or it's still going on or whatever. But The Boys, that like superpower kind of thing.
No. They can't do this. I know you're not aware what The Boys is. They cannot do The Boys. They could do like My Hero Academia. They could do like a kids show thing for
well,
like
yeah, they
tweens.
would definitely kidify it.
They can't do The Boys, which is like hard R/NC-17. Like the point of the show
Right.
is being pitch black humor. Watsy doesn't even acknowledge the idea of like anything remotely close.
Well, I mean, they had The Walking Dead.
That's true, but that's again just it's zombies.
Yeah, I mean, The Boys does take it a bit hard, but like, I mean, the thing is like they could do some type of like Wolverine kind of thing, but I don't see them ever getting access to X-Men.
No, again, owned by Disney.
Yeah,
so.
and like that's one that like they're not fucking with that one, I don't think. So I was like, oh, well, The Boys is like that, but just like adultified.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe it is too violent and too extreme, but I do think that like that kind of like superpower kind of thing, like maybe My Hero Academia.
I half agree. Let's get into this. So I'm going to start piping up with my more serious takes.
Okay.
One of my requirements was this had to work because this is Brad and Eric's IP wish list. This is not what will happen. What will happen is Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Brad and Eric's IP wish list, the Brad portion at least, is actual things that I think would be okay to add to Magic. So my first one, I went with Path of Exile.
Okay.
It's got your classic grimdark fantasy, huge amount of characters, huge amount of spells, in air quotes, spells, through all the skills and everything.
It's got a lot of monsters and enemies and
tons of monsters, fantastic design.
Yeah.
I love the lore, even if Eric is a shithead.
Lore. Path of Exile. Dude, you just blow shit up. Who cares?
Fuck you. But I think it could work very well as a setting for a Magic plane, more or less. Like, it doesn't work in the Magic universe, like from a lore standpoint.
Right.
But from a, like, if you looked at a random card and it was like Path of Exile themed, like a Kitava card, you'd be like, oh, we're on a new Mythos plane with a new evil god character. Yeah.
Like a Herald of Kitava or something like that. That could be a card.
Yeah. You look at that stuff and you're like, okay, this could be a Magic set. And also, Path of Exile has very strong ties to Magic, being started by the man who owns the largest Tundra collection on Earth.
Yeah, and like you said, there are a lot of spells, so like you could make Spark as like an instant lightning bolt variant kind of thing, or
I'm pretty sure Spark's probably blown already in Magic, but yeah, we could work like that.
Yeah, I could see that reasonably well.
So let's go back to Eric's takes.
Oh, my next one's great.
This kind of exemplifies the difference between our picks.
Do you know why I picked the next one, Brad?
Mark Rosewater.
Yes. Apparently Mark Rosewater worked on Roseanne. I want that tie-in.
Really, I've never heard that story 150 times on Drive to Work.
I want that tie-in in card form.
You need that Roseanne card.
I do.
You need that big juicy Roseanne. How big is the toughness on that card?
Oh, it's massive.
Large.
And I love it. I want that card. That would be like one of the only secret lairs I actually buy. I'd do it too.
It has IP Death Touch.
Fair enough.
All right, so back to like something more serious. I think another one that works is we like got a tease of this, but I would actually accept this as just a set thing, which is Age of Sigmar, which is Warhammer's fantasy, new, more high fantasy world thing, not like old world.
It was honestly shocking to me that they like, oh, we're going to do a Warhammer tie-in, and it was 40K, not AOS or fantasy.
It's not shocking because of your list. Your list is closer to the future we're getting.
That's true. Yeah.
It was shocking because you and I care about Magic as an IP.
Yeah.
And if we have to bleed, we're going to bleed it in a way that makes sense. It's not shocking when you follow the money and don't give a shit about the game you make.
Yeah, like you said, it kind of follows my list a little bit more. Yeah, there is a lot of AOS or fantasy, whatever part of that you want to take, that there's a lot of options there. There really is.
Yeah.
And there's a solid story to it as well. Like there's like bad characters. You can build up the epic kind of thing over a couple sets.
Yeah, or you just do like one set, here's your plane in air quotes of like, you can set up the lore for that with your little story of whatever current event is going on in Age of Sigmar that I can't remember.
Something about chaos, probably.
Kragnos is probably breaking something, or Archaon is getting the Dark Gods together to do some mischief.
Sounds on brand.
The Great Horned Rat continues to exist, but we don't talk about it. Seraphon doesn't get a range update. Oh, I'm not doing lore.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot that could be done with that. And it would be cool. And it would fit more into Magic, traditional Magic cards than 40K.
Yeah, I think it would work. But your next one is just the funniest.
So
it's your best pick. It is the best pick.
It's dumb because it's never going to happen. But a Pokemon tie-in would be amazing. Like,
it's just so dumb because WotC made the original Pokemon card game, and now it's like 1,000 times bigger than Magic the Gathering, and that's like a very close to real number.
Yeah. Well, and my nephew's starting to get into Pokemon because it's becoming popular again. So he's like looking at...
Can we join him?
Yeah. So I'm like, I found some of my old cards I'm going to give to him. It's like, oh, what are we going to get for Christmas? Well, I got him some Pokemon cards. If I step back from the nostalgia of Pokemon and the fact that I've played Magic for 10 years or 15 years or however the fuck old I am, Pokemon cards are just objectively better than Magic cards in quality,
from a design standpoint.
Art, like just objectively, they are a higher quality than Magic cards. And
absolutely,
like I said, I've got the Pokemon nostalgia, but I've also got I've played Magic forever. So, like,
just our manufacturing backgrounds. You can look at the two products.
One curls, the other doesn't.
Oh, fuck. I wasn't even going there. Jesus Christ. Right for the throat.
Yeah, so it's one of those that, like, that tie-in would be so cool. It's never going to happen. But if it did...
I feel like it can't happen for a specific reason you haven't grasped. Pokemon cards are strictly better than Magic cards.
Right, yeah.
If you print Pokemon cards from WotC, using Magic stock, using Magic's art style and everything else, you will see that is a purely inferior product.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It would be glaringly obvious.
The only thing we have is game rules. We've got game rules on our side, but not by too much, because to be honest, Wizards of the Coast made the rule set for Pokemon. It's actually a pretty okay card game. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's wacky spin the fucking plates bullshit.
Yeah.
At least 10 years ago. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 years ago is way under. At least 20 years ago, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. Time's an illusion. All right, then. I've got another one that I think
triggering
could work.
I do. You're correct. This is actually one of the best picks on your list, and I hate it.
This is Fire Emblem.
Fuck Fire Emblem.
There are a lot of people that like Fire Emblem.
My wife loves Fire Emblem.
It hits a lot of points that work really well as a way to sell product. It has very good
eugenics
face characters.
Oh, yeah. It's a breeding game, but for humans.
Yes.
It's also, every once in a while, a tactics game. I do think it would work for a set. It's a good, has the anime art style.
Yeah. The monsters are pretty generic. Like
pretty is an understatement. They're Lord of the Rings generic.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's a few that are like a little bit interesting, but those are like the special ones.
I haven't played Fire Emblem in many a year since it was on like Game Boy Advance. But back in my day, I remember it just being other dudes with swords versus your dudes with swords. And there was like a rock, paper, scissors weapon system. I only know the 76 Fire Emblem characters in Super Smash Brothers.
No, there's 77, sorry.
Yeah, they make up roughly 90% of the roster of Super Smash Brothers, which is part of why I hate Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it is why you get triggered whenever Fire Emblem happens, because...
But anyway, we can move on. So, on the Fire Emblem front, I have a tangentially related one.
Okay.
So, my pick is Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, mostly Elden Ring because money printer.
Yeah.
People pretend to care about Dark Souls, but no one gives a shit about Dark Souls. You don't give a fuck about Gwendolyn or Seath or any of that shit. You don't care about them. Four Kings. Yeah, you remember Four Kings. What an amazing boss that is.
The only reason to have Dark Souls is to be able to put Dark Souls on the product, because like they're all Dark Souls like, so people know it. But yeah, Elden Ring is definitely popular enough that it can eclipse that problem.
Yeah, and Bloodborne is just Innistrad at this point, but
yeah, kinda.
Now that Emrakul's in the moon.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that. It basically is.
So Elden Ring is basically the go-to here, but the whole thing, and it could work as, again, like a Magic Plane sort of thing, where like you could see the monsters from Elden Ring being creatures in Magic. You could see the art style done in that Magic pseudo-painted style.
Yeah.
The armor sets are beautiful, which would make for great.
I was going to say, they'd really have to go hard into the artifacts, I think, for equipment, because...
Equipment's for, like, swords and stuff and a couple things, but I think it's just you have, like, characters who are the titles of the armor sets.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
I'm not saying, like, legendary creatures, just creatures in general. They don't have to be legendary. They can be tarnished, and they can have creature type tarnished. But then you have your legendary creatures, which can be your demigods and stuff. I just think it would work really well for a setting for it that you could make, like, a good set on. And is a lot more modern than motherfucking Lord of the fucking Rings. It's the fantasy version of Star Wars, guys. Where it's like, it's kind of embarrassing, guys. It's not even that good of an IP.
Yeah.
It's just, it was the first one that you saw in the 70s in a movie theater, or read in the library because they didn't allow your nerdy ass in the movie theater if it's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah. I could see Elden Ring. There's some decent stuff that could be fun with that. And there's definitely unique landscapes. They could make some beautiful lands.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah.
They really could.
Yeah. If we're getting into like the whole you bleed in a little Dark Souls Bloodborne, there are some specific stuff. Those games are a lot more limited than Elden Ring and what they contain.
Right.
But like there are some specific things in there that would make for absolutely beautiful things in like a supplementary secret layer bullshit.
The jumpstart set.
There you go. I forgot we have to have a mandatory jumpstart set with every set now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love this game. Anyway, tell me your next thing, Eric. Eric, who talks about StarCraft at least once every 10 episodes.
I mean, to be fair, if they could do 40K, they can do StarCraft. Because, like, StarCraft is just shitty 40K lore.
I agree with you on StarCraft. You are so predictable. I wrote my first answer on my list based off Eric will pick StarCraft and it will segue into what I want to see.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with StarCraft. We can have that as a set of commander decks or whatever. Just like 3 of them. You could do that for StarCraft. And then I would like to see another round of those 40K EDH decks. Specifically because I would love to get enough sci-fi stuff as an alternate to Magic so that I can build like an official version of an old project that only Boomer Cube players like us know that was called Space the Convergence, where they took a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards and sci-fi-ified them.
And spent so much effort to do it.
For what is essentially a 10-year-old cube.
Yeah.
But they did that originally. I would love to do that with official cards in a sci-fi, like, here's the box of Magic rules, but we're playing the sci-fi game.
That would be cool. Yeah, no, that would actually be pretty cool to have some more sci-fi stuff that is handled in a way that the 40K was, because
it was handled very well. It won me over, even though I tried to hate it. And that's why, again, like, I'm fully on board with your pick for StarCraft. So, moving on to your next pick then.
So, you know what was a great anime that came out that had a live action part that came out pretty recently?
Death Note.
No, not Death Note. I mean...
Full Metal Alchemist?
Full Metal Alchemist could be cool, but no.
One Piece next year?
No.
Yu Yu Hakusho in 2 years.
That would be fun. No, Cowboy Bebop, dude, because I actually do really like that, and there's some interesting overlap between the, like, technology that's available.
I do think Bebop would be good, though. Like, just for, like, a small thing. It can't be, like, a set. But, like, just enough.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think if it did happen, it would be handled well. But to me, from like a designer standpoint, was like thinking about how to take that type of setting where there's like, you know, super high tech stuff, but like low tech settings, smashing them together in a card form kind of thing.
Yeah, it could work as like a weird experimental thing.
It's just very interesting to me. And I mean, I also like Cowboy Bebop, so like that helped. But
that's fair.
Any of those types of styles where it's like the dichotomy between what's actually happening in the settings and stuff like that, it's just very interesting how it would work out.
Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so my last one is a already failed one in my opinion. Ikoria.
Yeah, that happened.
I want Monster Hunter the plane. But I want it to actually be Monster Hunter, because Ikoria was like this weird vegan Monster Hunter bullshit. I want actual Monster Hunter.
It was Monster Hunter, but we're all going to be friends.
Yeah, fuck that bullshit. No fucking... We ain't companions with these monsters. We're gonna fucking wear them and kill their children wearing their corpse.
And when we don't kill them, we're gonna drug them and drag them back so we can kill them
in the fighting arena. Yes. For more parts.
For more parts. Yeah.
Yeah. I am all for doing Monster Hunter right this time.
Yeah.
Like, Monster Hunter is a fun-ass game, a great little IP. It's got no lore, so it matches the care that Magic has given its lore. Should fit right in. We'll just call it Ikoria 2, but good this time.
Yeah, I really did think that Ikoria was going to basically be Monster Hunter, and then it wasn't. So,
And in every way it wasn't Monster Hunter is the parts of that set that failed.
yeah, basically.
All right, so you've got one last joke here, Eric?
I do. I guess I'll say it. It's Tetris. I want the T block.
Okay, so what about the L block, Eric?
I mean, that'd be nice, but like, I want the T block so I can T-spin.
Okay. Can I have zigzag left?
I'll give it to you.
Okay. Can we do a secret layer with just all the shapes? There's not that many. Like, so straight line is like the super powerful one, right?
Yeah, I mean, T is the other super powerful one because like when you do the T-spin, you get some. But yeah, the straight line is like generally the way that you get Tetris. So yeah.
Then yeah, there's going to be Tetris, which is going to be like a destruction spell of some type. Probably every player sacrifices 4 lands,
Or
maybe deal 4 damage to all creatures at the same time. I'm on board with this. I want it to cost less than 6. I'm just going to say that right now. Let's go with
red,
4.
red. Called it.
There's a lot of 4s going on right now. Let's go with 4.
We did it. We fixed Cube's problem with Wildfire. All we needed was Tetris.
All right, that's the end of this fucking segment. Let's go. We can't top that. Let's be done.
Yeah.
Cue the music.
Sounds good.